Hey beauties, welcome back to Behind the Lash with Tammy. It feels really good to be sitting behind this microphone again. And if I'm being completely honest with you, there was a period of time when I wasn't sure this episode or even season 2 was going to happen. When I wrapped up season 1, the plan was to launch season 2 on April 27th, 2026. I had my content calendar. I had episode ideas. I had plans. And if there's one thing life has taught me recently, it's that sometimes life doesn't care about our plans. Over the past few months, I've been navigating some personal and health challenges behind the scenes while also balancing motherhood, caregiving, running Beauty by Tammy, and trying to figure out who I am in this next chapter of life. There were days when I was exhausted. There were days when I felt overwhelmed, and there were days when I questioned whether I had the energy to keep showing up for everything and everyone who needed me. So today, I want to share where I've been, what I've learned, and why this season of the podcast is going to look a little different. If you're going through a season of change yourself, I hope this episode feels like a conversation with a friend. Let's get into it. Back in March, I got bronchitis. Now, bronchitis doesn't sound like a huge deal when you say it out loud, but for me, it became the beginning of a period where I realized I wasn't bouncing back the way I normally would. This all started when we went on a family vacation to Florida for the last 2 weeks of January. We wanted to take my daughter, Alexis, to Super Nintendo World. We had always wanted to go. She's such a huge Super Mario fan. So finally this year we said, let's just go on a quick 2-week vacation to Florida, get some sun, get some of that good vitamin D. But on the way back, I knew something wasn't right. Maybe I picked up a virus on the plane. I don't know. I caught a cough, and the cough stayed with me for well over 2 months. No matter what I did, I took so many supplements. I even had an inhaler to help my lungs breathe and open up. It wasn't until I finally went to the doctor and she put me on antibiotics, a steroid, as well as a cough medicine with codeine to help me sleep so I could finally get the rest to get over this. I mean, I had this cough for over 2 months and then it turned into bronchitis. And finally, I would say in April, that's when the cough left me. So from February to April, I had this cough that turned into bronchitis. It was so crazy. I kept thinking, why am I not feeling better yet? Why am I still so tired? Why does everything feel harder than it should? At the same time, life didn't stop. It never does, right? Business still needed attention. Orders still needed to be shipped. Emails still needed replies. The podcast still needed planning. And then there was my family, my daughter, Alexis. The ongoing advocacy that comes with parenting a child who has additional support needs. All the appointments, the meetings, the planning, the worrying, the constant mental load that most people never see. And while all of this was happening, I was also navigating something many women my age are experiencing, but don't always talk about openly. Perimenopause, the hormonal shifts, the changes in energy, the changes in how your body responds to stress, the changes in how you see yourself. It felt like multiple seasons of life were colliding all at once. And if I'm being honest, there were moments where I felt like I was holding everything together with duct tape and determination. Maybe you can relate. Maybe you're carrying something heavy that nobody sees. Maybe you're taking care of everyone else while quietly wondering when you're going to have time or energy to take care of yourself. If that's you, I see you. Because that's exactly where I've been. One of the biggest realizations I've had recently is this. I can't keep living every season of my life the same way. For years, I've been someone who pushes through. Need something done? I'll do it. Need me to show up? I'll show up. Need me to figure it out? I'll definitely figure it out. That mindset has helped me survive a lot. It's helped me build a business. It's helped me navigate challenges. It's helped me advocate for Alexis. But lately, I've realized that constantly pushing myself through comes with a cost. Because eventually, your body, your mind, or your circumstances force you to pay attention. And what I've been learning is that strength isn't always about pushing harder. Sometimes strength is being honest about your limits. Sometimes strength is saying, this isn't working anymore. Sometimes strength is choosing a different path. And that's where I found myself recently. Not giving up, not quitting, but reevaluating, rebuilding, and asking different questions. For a long time, success looked like growth, more sales, more projects, more opportunities, more goals, more accomplishments, more. And don't get me wrong, ambition isn't a bad thing. I still have goals. I still care deeply about Beauty by Tammy. I still believe in building something meaningful, but lately I've been asking myself a different question. What if success isn't about constantly adding more? What if success is about creating a life that feels sustainable? What if success is having the energy to enjoy the life you're actually building? What if success is protecting your health, being present with your family, having peace of mind, creating enough rather than chasing endless more? I don't have all the answers, but I know my definition of success is evolving. And honestly, I think that's okay. Maybe it's even necessary. One thing I've been thinking about a lot recently is simplicity. Not because simplicity is trendy, because complexity is exhausting. I spent years building, creating, launching, trying new things, growing, and now I'm entering a season where I'm asking, what truly matters? What creates the biggest impact? What actually deserves my energy? And what can I let go of? That question applies to business. It applies to relationships. It applies to commitments. It applies to expectations. Because the reality is that we can't do everything, at least not well. And maybe one of the biggest lessons I've learned this year is that simplifying isn't failure. Simplifying is wisdom. Sometimes isn't less. Sometimes less is better. So let's talk about season 2. This season is going to be different. Season 1 was about how I built Beauty by Tammy. The lessons, the mistakes, the pivots, the entrepreneurship journey. Season 2 is about reinvention. It's about what happens when life changes you. It's about rebuilding differently. It's about sustainability, resilience, identity shifts. It's about navigating uncertainty when the path ahead isn't completely clear. And maybe most importantly, it's about giving ourselves permission to evolve, because I think so many of us feel pressure to stay the same, to keep pursuing the same goals, to keep living the same story, even when we've changed. And sometimes growth requires us to let go of old versions of ourselves, not because they were wrong, but because we've outgrown them. If you're listening to this today, and life doesn't look the way you thought it would, if you're carrying something heavy behind the scenes, if you're facing uncertainty, if you're rebuilding, if you're trying to figure out what's next, I want you to know you're not alone. One thing I'm learning right now is that rebuilding doesn't mean starting over. It means taking everything you've learned and using to build differently. Maybe this season of your life isn't a setback. Maybe it's a redirection. Maybe it's an invitation to create something more aligned with who you are now. And maybe that's exactly what season 2 is for me. Thank you for being here. Thank you for coming back for another season. And thank you for allowing me to share this journey with you. I'm excited for what's ahead. Until next time, keep showing up, keep growing, and keep believing that your story isn't over yet. Bye, beauties.